It has been quite a journey, hasn't it? But we're finally here. We are at the final 3 reviews for Atomic Kings. So, let's not waste any time and just dive straight into it. What's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Animation Station, for anything and everything animation, as well as TVs and movies. I am your host, Jackson Small, back to you all once again. Let's talk about Godzilla vs. Kong, the next installment of the Legendary Pictures Kaiju Godzilla Kong MonsterVerse. Yeah, it's a mouthful. But this is the next installment in the franchise, following that wet, stinky dog turd that was King of the Monsters. And I am happy to say that this is a huge improvement over that movie. But I will admit, on second watch, it's not quite as good as I remember it. It's still a really good movie, don't get me wrong. It's still a really good movie, it's a really fun time. But it does have a lot of issues. I hope my written review can summarize that up in a understandable way. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy. This is not a perfect film by any means, and still has a lot of issues, but compared to the last one, this was a much needed upgrade. The kaiju fights are great once more, with not one but 2 awesome battles that lived up to the hype promised by the trailers of this legendary rivalry. The final act was a very unexpected plot twist that ended with a pretty great fight and a very brutal finisher. Effects are pretty good and do the job well enough. It is still CGI, but it's higher end CGI. It does the job. It doesn't ruin the experience. The world building, especially with the Hollow Earth concept, is surprisingly great and very fascinating. Pacing is solid, story is better by a considerable margin, and there's pretty decent rewatchability. More specifically for the fights, more than anything. However, the human characters are still bad. That's just one problem the MonsterVerse refuses to fix, outside of Skull Island, and they fired those people as soon as that movie was done, so that's their own stupid fault. But yeah, human characters still suck. Acting is still very average, plot is a bit haphazard and hard to follow at times, runtime is a little too long, and a few story elements are just a small bit inconsistent with the overall MonsterVerse continuity. It's a bit hard to explain that one without going into spoilers, which I'm not going to do, but once you watch the movie for yourself, you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. Overall, though, this is a pretty fun time. Sure, on my second viewing, it's not quite as great as I thought initially, but still a pretty good film, and controversial opinion alert, leagues better than the original King Kong vs. Godzilla, because it took itself more seriously. So, yeah, I have pretty much nothing but praise for this movie, but it does have a lot of problems, so as much as my favoritism does sometimes affect reviews, this one I can't really do that, because it's a movie that I have to accept has a lot of problems, and it's not quite great, but it is still really, really good, so. And like I said, after that wet, stinky dog turd, that was the last one, this was a much-needed breath of fresh air, so. Yeah, final verdict for this one, positive, strong 7.5 out of 10. Check it out if you haven't seen it already, it is worth a watch, but just be aware that most of the problems of this MonsterVerse still have yet to be fixed. Well, bit of a fall off from the 9 out of 10 I initially gave it when I first saw it in theaters, back in 2021, I think, or was it 2019? I forget. But still recommended regardless. I do recommend this movie. It's a fun time. Well, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this almost every single day. And I'll see you next time when we dive into the behemoth that is Godzilla Minus One. This is a movie that I know a lot of you have been requesting in the comments section, so yeah, get hyped. That one's coming up next. See you then.
We cannot take it anymore. The time